G'day and welcome back to the Aussie Motorhome and RV show, powered by RV3D, Australia's custom 3D printing specialists for caravans, motorhomes and RVs. Find them at rv3d.com.au. Episode 8. Battle of the Builds, Local Aussie Manufacturing versus the Import Wave. A listener is about to buy a new motorhome and can't decide between an Australian-built rig and an imported one. It's a question more buyers are wrestling with now than ever before. And it deserves an honest answer rather than just brand loyalty arguments. The import wave is real and it's reshaping the market. Chinese manufactured rigs in particular have moved from a niche curiosity to a mainstream option, now appearing in dealerships that previously stocked only Australian brands. And they're often significantly cheaper, 30, 40, sometimes 50% less than an equivalent Australian-built product. For a lot of buyers, that price difference is impossible to ignore. So what does Australian manufacturing actually do better? The big one is conditions knowledge. Local manufacturers have been building for Australian roads, Australian temperatures, and Australian travel patterns for decades. The corrugation proofing, the UV resistance, the dust sealing, the water system designed for extreme temperatures. These are engineering decisions that come from hard-won experience of what actually fails here. You can't copy that from a spec sheet. It's embedded in design decisions that might not even be visible to a buyer. Chassis bracing locations, seal specifications, fastener choices, insulation grades. The rigs that survive the Gibb River Road or the Gun Barrel Highway year after year are generally Australian engineered for those conditions. After-sales support is a huge factor. Australian manufacturers have dealer networks, spare parts availability and warranty service. When something fails on the road, and something always eventually fails, knowing you can get a part or service in a reasonable time frame matters enormously. With imported rigs, that support chain is often much less certain, but imports are genuinely improving. Manufacturing quality of the better Chinese-built rigs has come up considerably. Fit and finish on showroom floors can be impressive. Features and inclusions that would cost extra on an Australian rig are standard on imports. For buyers doing moderate travel, caravan parks, sealed roads, not pushing into remote areas, an import can deliver good value. The import story breaks down in remote travel, extended touring on corrugated outback roads, and the long-term durability question. We're only now seeing first-generation imports old enough to show how they hold up over 5 to 10 years of Australian use. The evidence is mixed. There's also a parts availability problem specific to imports. They often use proprietary fittings, clips, brackets, and components with no Australian supply chain. When something breaks on corrugated road, and things always eventually break, sourcing a replacement can mean waiting weeks for something from overseas. This is where custom 3D printing becomes directly relevant. If you can't source an original replacement for an imported rig's proprietary fitting, a custom PETG part from RV3D can often solve the problem. As more imported rigs enter the Australian fleet, this kind of solution is only going to become more important. Check rv3d.com.au if you're facing this problem. The buying decision framework comes down to 4 questions. Where will you actually travel? Remote outback favours Australian-built, sealed roads and caravan parks? Imports can work. How long do you intend to keep it? Long-term ownership favours Australian builds for parts and support reasons. What's your risk tolerance? Imports carry more uncertainty on long-term durability. And can you get the warranty serviced locally if something goes wrong? Read the warranty terms before you sign anything. The industry is going through a genuine shake-up. Australian manufacturers are being forced to compete harder on value and innovation. Some are responding well, others are struggling. The buyer is in the middle of it, which means more choice, but also more due diligence required. Next episode, the smart RV shift, how Australian motorhome designs are changing and whether smart RV technology is genuinely useful or just expensive gadgetry. This has been the Aussie Motorhome and RV show, powered by RV3D. For custom 3D printed parts built for Australian conditions, visit rv3d.com.au. That's rv3d.com.au. Safe travels, and we'll see you next episode.